The final battle of the war took place at Nexus Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Sovereignty Council, where President King stood on the bridge of the flagship New Horizon, watching the last alien defenses crumble before the largest human fleet ever assembled. Captain Morrison commanded the massive vessel that had been built using the best of both human and captured alien technology. The ship represented everything humanity had learned about warfare and survival during their fight for existence. The Council's remaining leaders had fortified Nexus Prime with every weapon and defense system they could gather from across their crumbling empire. Supreme Chancellor Zareth of the Altonian species had taken personal command of the planet's defenses and was determined to make humanity pay dearly for their victory. The alien defenses included orbital platforms, energy shields, and automated weapon systems that had protected the Council capital for thousands of years. Admiral Carter coordinated the human assault from her command ship while General Wade led ground forces that would capture key government buildings once the orbital defenses were neutralized. The human attack plan was complex and required perfect timing between space and ground forces. Every human commander understood that this battle would determine whether humanity became the new rulers of the galaxy or would be forced to fight a longer war of attrition. The battle began with Captain Martinez's stealth ships infiltrating the inner system and disabling key defensive installations. Martinez had become humanity's premier special operations commander, and his forces were expert at striking targets that seemed impossible to reach. The stealth ships used advanced cloaking technology to approach the heavily defended planet without being detected by alien sensors. Engineer Sullivan's technology virus had already infected many of the defensive systems on Nexus Prime and Alien. Weapons were malfunctioning at critical moments during the battle. The virus had evolved since its original deployment and now actively sabotaged alien equipment while protecting human systems from similar attacks. Sullivan watched from her command center as her creation turned the aliens' own defenses against them. Dr. Brooks had developed specialized weapons for the assault on Nexus Prime that could penetrate the planet's powerful shields and reach surface targets. The weapons used quantum tunneling technology stolen from alien science but applied in ways that no Council species had ever imagined. The human scientists had learned to think beyond the limitations that restricted alien innovation. The orbital battle was fierce and desperate as Council forces threw everything they had at the approaching human fleet. Alien ships that had been held in reserve for emergencies emerged from hidden bases throughout the system to defend their capital. The defenders fought with courage born of desperation, but they were facing human forces that had been hardened by months of continuous warfare. Colonel Davis led fighter squadrons in attacks against the orbital defense platforms, while Captain Morrison's heavy ships engaged the remaining Council fleet. The human fighters used tactics that combined traditional combat maneuvers with innovations developed during their war of survival. Each pilot understood that failure would mean the end of human expansion, and possibly human civilization itself. Supreme Chancellor Zareth watched from his command bunker as human forces systematically destroyed the defenses that had protected the Council capital for millennia. The alien leader had never imagined that any species could challenge Council supremacy, and he was struggling to understand how humans had become so powerful so quickly. His advisors were reporting system failures throughout the planet as human weapons and viruses overwhelmed their technology. Commander Phillips was coordinating intelligence operations that identified key Council leaders and government facilities that needed to be captured intact. Her agents had spent months mapping the complex political structure of the alien government and knew exactly which individuals controlled different aspects of Council policy. Phillips wanted to ensure that the human victory would be complete and permanent. As the orbital defenses fell, human ground forces began landing on Nexus Prime in massive numbers. General Wade led the assault on the government district, while specialized teams captured communication centers and military headquarters. The human soldiers fought with determination and skill that shocked the alien defenders who had expected an easy victory against primitive humans just over a year earlier. The alien ground forces were quickly overwhelmed by human tactics and technology. Human soldiers used powered armor and advanced weapons that made them superior to alien troops in individual combat. More importantly, the humans fought as coordinated units while the alien defenders were confused and demoralized by the rapid collapse of their defenses. President King received the first surrender offers when human forces captured the Council's communication center and began intercepting desperate messages from alien leaders. The messages begged for mercy and offered tribute, territory, and complete submission to human authority. The aliens who had once planned to exterminate humanity were now pleading for their own lives and the survival of their species. Dr. Rodriguez was analyzing the intercepted communications and discovered evidence of other atrocities committed by the Council throughout their long history. The aliens had destroyed dozens of species over thousands of years for being unsuitable for galactic society. Humanity was not the first species targeted for extinction, but they were the first to successfully fight back and survive. Supreme Chancellor Zareth was captured when human forces stormed his command bunker after overwhelming his personal guard. The alien leader who had personally signed humanity's death warrant was brought before President King in chains. Zareth pleaded for mercy and claimed that the decision to destroy humanity had been made by other council members against his wishes. President King listened to the aliens' pleas without emotion, while reviewing the evidence of council crimes that Commander Phillips had gathered. The president had studied human history and understood the importance of completely defeating enemies who had attempted genocide. King told the captured alien leader that mercy was a luxury that humanity could not afford to show to those who had planned their extinction. The remaining council species sent increasingly desperate messages offering everything they possessed in exchange for survival. Ambassador Kelthara, who had delivered the original ultimatum to humanity, now begged forgiveness and claimed she had been following orders from her superiors. The aliens offered to become human subjects and promised to serve humanity faithfully if their lives were spared. Captain Morrison supervised the occupation of Nexus Prime as human forces took control of every important facility on the planet. The capital of the former galactic government was now under human control, and the surviving council members were prisoners awaiting judgment. Morrison reflected on how completely the situation had changed since that day over a year ago, when he first received the alien ultimatum. President King established a new galactic government with humanity at its head and the former council species as subordinate members. The aliens would be allowed to survive but would never again be permitted to threaten other species with extinction. Human colonies throughout the galaxy were reinforced and expanded to ensure that no alien alliance could challenge human supremacy. The final scene of the war showed human settlements thriving across the galaxy, while the former council species worked to rebuild their shattered civilization under human oversight. The species that had once considered themselves the natural rulers of the galaxy now served as examples of what happened to those who underestimated human determination and ingenuity. The moral of humanity's victory was clear. Those who threaten human existence do so at their own peril, and will discover that mercy is earned rather than assumed. 3 months after the failed council attack on Earth, Captain Martinez was leading human forces deep into alien territory for the most daring operation in human history. His stealth fleet had grown to 50 ships, and each vessel was crewed by volunteers who knew they might never return home. Martinez was no longer just gathering intelligence but was actively hunting Council military targets throughout their space. The human counterattack began with strikes against isolated alien outposts and supply depots. Martinez's ships would appear without warning, destroy their targets, and disappear before alien reinforcements could arrive. The attacks were carefully planned to cause maximum disruption to Council military operations while avoiding civilian casualties. Martinez wanted the aliens to understand that humans could be ruthless in war, but were not monsters. General Wade's hidden colonies had revealed themselves as fully militarized strongholds scattered across the galaxy, and each colony had spent months preparing for this moment. The colonies were located in star systems that the Council had never explored, and were protected by defensive systems based on the latest human technology. When the counterattack began, each colony launched coordinated strikes against nearby Council facilities. The colony attacks were devastating because the Council had never suspected that humans had established secret settlements throughout their territory. Alien supply convoys found themselves under attack from human ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. Communication networks that connected Council worlds were disrupted by human raiders who struck quickly and vanished before defenders could respond. Engineer Sullivan had spent the months since Earth's victory developing new weapons, and her latest creation was about to change the nature of galactic warfare forever. Sullivan had created a computer virus that attacked alien technology rather than biological systems. The virus spread through Council networks and caused their ships to malfunction, and their colonies to lose power. It was warfare through information rather than traditional weapons. The technology virus was Sullivan's masterpiece, and it demonstrated how humans approached problems differently than other species. While aliens focused on building bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humans looked for clever ways to turn enemy strengths into weaknesses. The virus spread faster than the Council could contain it, and soon alien worlds throughout the galaxy were experiencing system failures. Dr. Brooks led research teams on Mars in developing even more advanced weapons based on captured alien technology. The human scientists had learned to combine alien quantum systems with human artificial intelligence to create weapons that were more sophisticated than anything either species had built alone. These new weapons were being installed on human ships faster than alien engineers could develop countermeasures. Ambassador Kelthera tried desperately to open communication channels with human leaders, but found that all her messages were being ignored. Admiral Carter had given strict orders that no negotiations would be accepted until the Council surrendered unconditionally. Humans had learned from their own history that showing mercy to those who planned genocide was a dangerous mistake that could not be repeated. The Council was discovering that their greatest strength had become their greatest weakness. For thousands of years, the 12 species had cooperated so closely that they had become dependent on each other for critical resources and services. When human attacks disrupted these connections, the entire Council civilization began to break down. Worlds that had never known hardship suddenly found themselves without power or supplies. Captain Morrison was commanding a battle group that was systematically destroying Council military facilities in the outer regions of their territory. Morrison's ships used hit-and-run tactics that kept alien defenders confused and off balance. The human forces would strike hard at one location and then appear days later attacking a target hundreds of light years away. The aliens could not predict where humans would strike next. President King was coordinating the entire counterattack from Earth while also managing the reconstruction of human civilization. The victory over the Council fleet had given humanity new confidence, but King knew that the war was far from over. The president was working with military leaders to ensure that human forces maintained their advantages while preparing for the possibility of alien counterattacks. Commander Phillips was running intelligence operations that penetrated deep into Council society, and her agents were gathering information about alien weaknesses and internal conflicts. Phillips discovered that several Council species were beginning to question the wisdom of their leaders' decision to attack humanity. Some aliens were even suggesting that negotiations should be attempted before human forces grew even stronger. The intelligence reports showed that the Council was facing internal problems that made their military situation even worse. Different alien species were blaming each other for the failure of the Earth attack, and some were beginning to withdraw their forces from joint operations. The unity that had held the Council together for millennia was cracking under the pressure of human attacks. General Wade's forces captured a major Council supply depot in the Rigel system, and the victory provided humans with massive amounts of alien technology and resources. The captured materials included advanced manufacturing equipment that allowed human colonies to build ships and weapons without depending on Earth for supplies. Each successful attack made human forces stronger while weakening the Council. Dr. Rodriguez was analyzing captured Council military communications, and his work revealed that alien forces were becoming increasingly demoralized by their losses. Many alien commanders were reporting that their troops were unwilling to engage human forces directly. The reputation of human tactical brilliance was spreading throughout Council space and was affecting alien morale more than any weapon. Engineer Sullivan's technology virus had spread to over half of the Council worlds and was causing cascading system failures throughout alien civilization. Power grids were failing. Transportation networks were shutting down and military facilities were going offline. The virus was designed to be difficult to remove, and each attempt to clean infected systems often made the problems worse. Captain Martinez led a daring raid against the Council's main military academy on their fortress world of Kepler Prime. The attack was intended to capture key alien military personnel and gather intelligence about Council defensive plans. Martinez's forces fought their way through heavy defenses and successfully extracted valuable prisoners and data before withdrawing to human space. The captured alien officers provided information about Council military capabilities that helped human planners target their most important enemies. The prisoners also revealed that many Council leaders were beginning to panic as they realized that human forces were more powerful and organized than they had ever imagined. Some aliens were already suggesting that the Council should seek peace before humanity decided to destroy them completely. Admiral Carter was planning the final phase of the human counterattack, which would target the Council's core worlds and government centers. Carter knew that capturing or destroying the Council's leadership would effectively end their ability to coordinate resistance against human forces. The Admiral was gathering the largest human fleet ever assembled for what she hoped would be the decisive battle of the war. As the fourth phase of the conflict reached its conclusion, Council worlds were falling to human forces at an accelerating pace, and panic was spreading throughout alien civilization. The species that had once planned humanity's extinction were now facing the possibility of their own destruction at human hands. The tables had turned completely, and the Council members, who remained free, were beginning to realize that their only hope for survival might be to beg for the mercy they had refused to show humanity. The Council Armada arrived at Earth exactly 1 year after Ambassador Kelthera had delivered the ultimatum. Fleet Commander Vorgan of the Craxi species stood on the bridge of his flagship watching Earth grow larger on his screens. The Craxi were known throughout the galaxy as the Council's military specialists, and Vorgan had never lost a battle in his 300 years of service. He expected this mission to be simple and quick. Vorgan commanded over 200 ships from 6 different Council species. Each ship was larger and more powerful than anything humans had ever built. The alien fleet had enough firepower to destroy entire planets, and Vorgan planned to use that power to send a message to any other species that might challenge Council authority. He had studied human military capabilities and was not impressed by what he found. Admiral Carter waited on Earth with the human defense fleet, knowing that her ships were outnumbered 10 to 1. Her fleet looked small and weak compared to the massive alien armada, but appearances could be deceiving. Every human ship had been modified with new technology and weapon systems developed during the preparation year. More importantly, every human crew was fighting for the survival of their entire species. The battle began when Vorgan sent a final surrender demand to Earth. Admiral Carter responded by launching the first wave of human fighters. Colonel Rick Davis led his squadron in new experimental ships that were faster and more maneuverable than anything the aliens expected. The human fighters darted between the alien ships like insects attacking giants, and their weapons struck at weak points that alien designers had never considered vulnerable. Vorgan was surprised by the speed and agility of the human fighters, but he was not worried. His ships had powerful shields and weapons that should easily destroy the small human vessels. He ordered his fleet to begin the bombardment of Earth's orbital defenses and expected to see the human resistance collapse within hours. Instead, he watched his own ships begin taking damage from weapons that seemed to ignore their shields. Captain Morrison commanded the Valiant in the center of the human battle line, and his ship was testing Engineer Sullivan's new weapon systems in real combat. The kinetic weapons fired solid projectiles that punched through alien energy shields and damaged the ships inside. The adaptive shields learned from each alien attack and became stronger with every exchange of fire. Morrison's crew fought with determination and skill that impressed even their enemies. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the battle from Luna Base, where he controlled hidden weapon systems throughout the solar system. For months, human engineers had been placing weapons and sensors on asteroids, space stations, and even some of the outer planets. When the alien fleet entered the solar system, they found themselves surrounded by defensive positions that had been invisible until they activated. Asteroid Belt became a minefield, as hidden weapons opened fire on alien ships from all directions. The aliens had expected to fight the human fleet in open space, but instead they found themselves trapped in a solar system that had been turned into a giant weapon. Vorgan realized that humans had spent the preparation year turning their entire home system into a fortress. Commander Phillips activated the most secret part of humanity's preparation during the height of the battle. For months, human agents had been infiltrating Council society, using advanced disguises and false identities. These agents had positioned themselves on key alien worlds and were waiting for the signal to begin their mission. When Phillips gave the command, the agents began sabotaging alien infrastructure throughout Council space. The sabotage attacks hit alien communication networks, power systems, and military facilities. Supply ships carrying reinforcements for Vorgan's fleet suddenly lost power and drifted helplessly in space. Military bases on Council worlds went dark as their power systems failed. Most importantly, the quantum communication networks that connected the Council species began breaking down, and alien commanders lost contact with their home governments. Vorgan found his fleet isolated and cut off from reinforcement or support. His ships were taking damage from human weapons that seemed to grow more effective with each battle. The human fighters were using tactics that no Council species had ever encountered, and they were exploiting weaknesses in alien ship designs that had never been tested in real combat. For the first time in his long career, Vorgan began to doubt that victory was possible. The tide of battle turned when human stealth ships commanded by Captain Martinez began attacking alien ships from behind their own battle lines. The stealth ships had been hiding in the outer solar system, and they struck at the most vulnerable alien vessels with devastating effect. Martinez's ships used their advanced weapons to disable alien command ships and disrupt the coordination of the alien fleet. Dr. Brooks watched from Mars as her technology proved itself in combat. The human ships equipped with adaptive shields were surviving battles that should have destroyed them. The weapons based on alien technology were more effective than she had hoped. Most importantly, the quantum disruption devices were causing alien power systems to fail throughout the enemy fleet. General Wade's hidden colonies received news of the battle through secret communication channels and began preparing for their own missions. Each colony had been building military forces and developing new technologies based on information sent from Earth. When the Earth battle began, the colonies started launching their own attacks against isolated Council outposts and supply lines. Vorgan tried to regain control of the battle by ordering his most powerful ships to concentrate their fire on Earth itself. He believed that threatening the human homeworld would force the human fleet to fight in predictable ways that would favor his superior numbers. Instead, the human ships fought even more desperately and effectively when their planet was directly threatened. The alien bombardment of Earth was stopped by orbital defense platforms that had been hidden until the critical moment. The platforms used new shield technology to protect major population centers while launching counterattacks against the alien fleet. Human ground-based weapons fired projectiles that reached into space and struck alien ships with devastating accuracy. Colonel Davis led his fighters in a desperate attack against Vorgan's flagship, hoping to disrupt alien command and control. The human fighters penetrated the alien ship's defenses and caused critical damage to its command systems. Vorgan found himself unable to coordinate his fleet effectively as human weapons continued to tear through his forces. The battle reached its climax when Commander Phillips revealed the full extent of human infiltration of Council society. Alien worlds throughout the galaxy were experiencing simultaneous system failures as human agents activated sabotage programs that had been years in preparation. The Council's entire civilization was under attack from within, and their leaders were powerless to respond effectively. Vorgan realized that his fleet was trapped and outmatched despite its superior size and firepower. The humans had turned their apparent weakness into devastating advantages and had shown tactical brilliance that no Council species had ever demonstrated. For the first time in Council history, an alien fleet was retreating from human space in defeat. 6 months had passed since the Council's death sentence was announced, and humanity worked harder than ever before in their history. General Chris Wade stood in the command center of a secret base hidden in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The base did not exist on any official records, and only the most trusted humans knew about it. General Wade was leading the most important mission humanity had ever attempted, and failure meant the complete extinction of his species. The mission was called Project Exodus, and its goal was to establish hidden human colonies far beyond Council surveillance. General Wade had handpicked 300 of humanity's best people for this operation. They included scientists, engineers, military personnel, and civilians who could start new communities. Each group would travel to a different part of the galaxy and set up colonies that the Council would never find. Dr. Helen Brooks was working day and night in her laboratory on Mars to unlock the secrets of alien technology. 6 months ago, she had been a normal researcher studying asteroid mining techniques. Now she was humanity's best hope for understanding how alien ships and weapons worked. Dr. Brooks had managed to get her hands on pieces of alien technology that had been secretly collected over many years by Earth intelligence. The alien technology was unlike anything humans had ever seen before. The power sources used some kind of quantum energy that Dr. Brooks was still trying to understand. The alien metals were stronger and lighter than anything humans could make. Most importantly, the alien computer systems seemed to work in ways that challenged everything humans knew about information processing. Dr. Brooks had made several important breakthroughs in recent weeks. She discovered that alien shields worked by bending energy around their ships rather than absorbing it. This meant that traditional human weapons would be almost useless against alien defenses. However, Dr. Brooks also found weaknesses in the alien designs. The quantum power systems were very efficient, but also very unstable if disrupted in the right way. Captain Tony Martinez commanded the new stealth fleet that was humanity's secret weapon against the Council. His ships were built using a combination of human engineering and stolen alien technology. The ships were designed to be invisible to alien sensors and could travel much faster than normal human vessels. Captain Martinez had been testing these ships for months and was ready to take them into enemy territory. The stealth fleet consisted of 12 ships each with a crew of 50 people. The ships were armed with new weapons designed by human engineers based on alien technology. More importantly, the ships carried advanced spy equipment that could monitor alien communications and map their defenses. Captain Martinez's mission was to gather intelligence about the Council's military capabilities and find weaknesses that humanity could exploit. Engineer Kate Sullivan was working in a secure facility on Luna Base, developing new weapons systems for humanity's defense. Kate had always been good at taking things apart and putting them back together in better ways. Now she was applying those skills to the most important project of her life. Kate was combining human creativity with alien science to create weapons that neither species had ever imagined. Kate's most successful creation was an adaptive shield system that could learn from enemy attacks and adjust its defenses automatically. The shields used alien quantum technology, but were controlled by human artificial intelligence programs. When an enemy weapon hit the shields, the system would analyze the attack and develop better protection against similar weapons. Kate believed that these shields could give human ships a fighting chance against superior alien firepower. President King spent his days coordinating the massive preparation effort while trying to keep the human population calm. The news about the Council's ultimatum had spread throughout human space and many people were panicking. Some wanted to surrender and hope for mercy, while others demanded immediate attacks against alien targets. President King had to balance these different opinions while making sure that humanity's preparations continued. The president worked closely with Admiral Carter to expand human military production. Factories on Earth, Mars, and the asteroid colonies were working around the clock to build new ships and weapons. Civilian ships were being converted for military use and every human settlement was being fortified. The preparations were expensive and difficult, but humanity had no choice except to fight. Commander Phillips was running intelligence operations throughout the galaxy to gather information about the Council species. Her agents had discovered that the Council was made up of 12 different alien races who had been working together for thousands of years. Each species had different strengths and weaknesses, but they had grown comfortable with their position as the galaxy's rulers. The intelligence reports showed that the Council species had not fought a real war in over 500 years. They had maintained peace through superior technology and diplomatic pressure. Most Council worlds had small military forces because they had never needed large armies. Commander Phillips believed that this peace had made the aliens soft and unprepared for the kind of fight that humanity was planning. Captain Martinez's stealth ships had successfully infiltrated Council space and were sending back valuable intelligence. The alien worlds were heavily populated but poorly defended. Their ships were powerful but slow and predictable in their movements. Most importantly, the alien commanders seemed to follow rigid battle plans that left them vulnerable to unexpected tactics. Dr. Brooks made another breakthrough when she learned how to reverse engineer alien communication systems. This allowed human intelligence to monitor Council military communications and learn about their invasion plans. The aliens were gathering a massive fleet for their attack on humanity, but they were also having problems coordinating between different species. Each alien race wanted to lead the attack, and there were disagreements about strategy and timing. General Wade's colony ships had reached their destinations and were establishing the hidden settlements that would preserve humanity if Earth fell. Each colony was being built in a different type of star system to make them harder to find. The colonists were working to become self-sufficient as quickly as possible, while also building military defenses. These colonies represented humanity's insurance policy against extinction. Engineer Sullivan completed work on her most ambitious project just as the 6-month mark approached. She had created kinetic weapons that could punch through alien energy shields by using pure physical force rather than energy beams. The weapons fired solid projectiles at incredible speeds using magnetic acceleration systems. The projectiles were too fast and too small for alien sensors to track effectively. As the preparation period reached its halfway point, humanity was transforming from a peaceful exploration society into a military force designed for survival. The changes were difficult and painful, but they were also revealing human capabilities that had never been fully tested. President King addressed the hidden colonies through encrypted communications and told them that Earth would serve as bait for the Council's attack while the colonies built strength for the counteroffensive that would follow. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Valiant, watching the stars through the main screen. The deep space around Earth looked peaceful, but Jake knew that peace would not last long. His communication officer, Lieutenant Steve Parker, turned toward him with worry in his eyes and said the long-range sensors had picked up something big coming their way. Jake walked over to the sensor station and saw the readings himself. Multiple ships were approaching Earth from different directions, and they were not human ships. The communication system started beeping with an incoming message from an unknown source. Jake told his crew to put the message on the main screen, and what he saw made his blood run cold. A tall alien creature with blue skin and 4 arms appeared before them. The creature had large black eyes and spoke in perfect English, with a voice that sounded like metal scraping against stone. The alien introduced itself as Ambassador Kelthera of the Zephyrian Empire, and said it was speaking for the Galactic Sovereignty Council. Jake had heard stories about the Council, but most humans thought they were just myths. The alien continued, speaking, and told Jake that the Council had been watching humanity for many years. They had studied human behavior and had reached a decision about the human race. Ambassador Kelthera said that humans were too aggressive and too dangerous to be allowed to continue existing in the galaxy. The Council had voted, and all 12 species agreed that humanity must be destroyed completely. The alien explained that humans had shown too much violence in their short history. They fought wars against each other and expanded too quickly across space. The Council believed that humans would eventually threaten all other species in the galaxy if they were allowed to grow stronger. Ambassador Kelthera said the decision was final and could not be changed. Humanity had exactly 1 standard year to prepare for what the alien called systematic cleansing. Jake felt anger building inside him as he listened to the alien's words. He asked why the Council had never tried to talk with humans before making this decision. Ambassador Kelthera said that humans were too primitive to understand galactic law and too violent to be trusted with negotiations. The alien said that the Council fleets would return in 1 year and would destroy every human settlement in the galaxy. No human would be allowed to escape or hide. After the message ended, Jake immediately contacted Admiral Lisa Carter on Earth. Admiral Carter was the highest-ranking military officer in the Earth Defense Force, and Jake knew she needed to hear about this threat right away. When Admiral Carter appeared on the communication screen, Jake could see the exhaustion in her face. She had been working for 18 hours straight on defense preparations, but Jake's news made her completely alert. Jake told Admiral Carter everything about the alien message and the Council's plan to destroy humanity. Admiral Carter listened, without interrupting, and Jake could see her mind working through the implications of what he was saying. When Jake finished his report, Admiral Carter was quiet for a long moment before speaking. She said that Earth had been preparing for the possibility of alien contact, but not for something like this. Admiral Carter told Jake to return to Earth immediately and to send the alien message to all human colonies and outposts. She said that President Matthew King needed to see the message and that an emergency meeting would be held within hours. Jake ordered his crew to set course for Earth at maximum speed and sent encrypted copies of the alien message to every human settlement he could reach. During the journey back to Earth, Jake thought about what the alien had said about human violence and aggression. It was true that humans had fought many wars throughout their history, but Jake believed that humans had also shown great capacity for cooperation and growth. The alien seemed to judge humanity only by its worst moments and ignored all the progress humans had made in recent centuries. When the Valiant arrived at Earth, Jake went directly to the emergency meeting at Defense Headquarters. President King was there along with Admiral Carter and many other important leaders. Chief Science Officer Dr. Ben Rodriguez was studying the alien message, while Commander Amy Phillips from Earth Intelligence was reviewing everything they knew about alien species. President King looked tired and worried as he addressed the room. He said that the alien message had been confirmed as authentic and that similar messages had been received by human colonies throughout the galaxy. The threat was real and humanity had to decide how to respond. Some leaders suggested trying to negotiate with the Council, but Commander Phillips said that negotiations seemed impossible based on the alien's message. Dr. Rodriguez stood up and told the room about his analysis of the alien technology used to send the message. He said the aliens were clearly more advanced than humans, but not impossibly so. Their ships used energy systems that humans could potentially understand and copy if given enough time. Dr. Rodriguez believed that humanity's greatest advantage was their ability to learn and adapt quickly. Admiral Carter presented the military situation to the group. Earth had strong defenses, but not enough to fight off a full-scale alien invasion. The human colonies were scattered and poorly defended. Most human ships were designed for exploration and cargo transport rather than combat. Admiral Carter said that humanity would need to use the full year to prepare for war, because surrender was not an option. Commander Phillips shared intelligence reports about possible alien activities near human space. She said that alien scouts had been spotted near several human colonies over the past few months, but no contact had been made. The aliens had clearly been planning this attack for a long time and had chosen their moment carefully. President King asked each person in the room for their recommendation about how humanity should respond. Every person gave the same answer. Humanity would fight back against the Council's genocide order. They would use the year to prepare their defenses and to find ways to turn their disadvantages into advantages. The meeting ended with President King declaring that humanity would not go quietly into extinction.